Hey guys, we are back with some more nutrition information for you today. So today we're going to talk about dairy. We get a lot of questions about dairy. You kind of go both sides of it. Everybody with little kids thinks that their kid needs to drink dairy or milk all day long. They think they need their calcium. It's served with lunches at school, all these different things like that. We see the drink milk commercials and stuff like that. But then with adults, we get the opposite side of the spectrum where you have like the Whole30 diet and the paleo diet and all these different diets who, eliminate dairy. And you hear about people who are lactose intolerant and all this stuff like that. And so we're going to talk about today, is dairy good for you or is it bad for you? And like almost every video I do, the answer is it depends. But let's talk about why that is so that you can figure out if it's a really nutritious and healthful part of your diet and your kids' diet, or if for you, maybe it doesn't work. So the first thing that I always think it's important to do is understand what we're talking about. So modern dairy. Today, dairy is produced by dairy cows, and these are cows that are bred to produce the most amount of milk. That is their job. These cows produce milk. And that is it. They're not used for feed or for beef, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They also are not fed. They don't graze in the grass, so that's their natural diet. Instead, they are fed. They're corn-fed or soy-fed cattle. And so that means that since they're not eating their natural diet, they're not as healthy as they should be. And since they never cycle in and out of the dairy, oftentimes they have a lot of infections in their udders and they have sores and things like that. Okay, so modern dairy. So then all that dairy, thousands of cows, all that milk is brought together. It's put in a tanker and is taken to the dairy plant where it's pasteurized and homogenized. So homogenization is what keeps the cream from separating. So you have a nice, even, smooth milk. And so that is a process where it's forced through a teeny tiny pipe. So the fat is literally broken apart and dispersed throughout. Then pasteurization is where it's superheated rapidly and to a very high heat to kill the bacteria or, to kill the bacteria is basically it. Okay, so that's your modern dairy. Then it's thrown into a plastic jug, shipped to the store, and you're good to go. So, in a lot of these diets currently, dairy is eliminated, and you're encouraged to eliminate dairy, and there's a lot of people who think that dairy is not good for you, and that it doesn't work for them. And so this might be moms that are nursing who end up with colicky or gassy babies. They'll try to eliminate dairy. People following a Whole30 or paleo diet will eliminate dairy. Of course, vegan and vegetarian eliminate dairy a lot of times. Not all vegetarians, but. And so then when they do that, they instead come and they get nut milk and they get coconut milk. So I want to start out by looking at nut milk and coconut milk. So this is almond milk and coconut milk. Okay, so these are the two cleanest versions that I can find at the store. And I always go back to ingredients. And so I think it's really important to look at this and see that this almond milk says that it contains almond milk, vitamin and mineral blend, vitamin E acetate, vitamin A palmitate, vitamin D2, sea salt, natural flavor, sunflower lecithin, locust bean gum, and ghillie gum. I guess that's how you pronounce that? I don't know. All right. This coconut milk is coconut milk, water, potassium metabisulfite as a preservative. So not too bad on the coconut milk. This one, there are other ones that contain a lot more. All right, milk contains milk. So when there's the argument that these are better than that, the first thing that we need to go for is the ingredient list, right? Longer ingredient list, probably a little more processed. Now, to be clear, you could make these two things at home and the ingredient list would be totally different. And that would be a great healthy alternative. But if you're buying it, you are buying excess ingredients that you're putting into your body, most of which you can't pronounce and you couldn't find them in your kitchen. So that's our number one thing that we look at. All right, second thing that we look at is modern dairy looks nothing like actual, like dairy as it's traditionally eaten. So traditional dairy is raw. It's not been heated, it's not been homogenized. It separates, you have to shake it to get the fat to disperse throughout the liquid. It also generally and traditionally is not from thousands of cows mixed together. So you would be consuming the information, because remember that dairy is it's breast milk from a cow. So that is information. When a mother nurses its baby, it's giving information to the baby, and the baby is giving information back so that the mother's body can adjust to its needs. That same thing is true for a cow. It is breast milk from a cow. So it's important to understand that, meaning that when you're consuming that, that's information for your body. But your body's getting information from 1,000 cows and trying to process that. So that right there already kind of takes it out of the natural realm. You would not be consuming breast milk from 1,000 mothers as a baby, right? You would have it from one mother. The other thing is the pasteurization and homogenizing, however you say that, completely changes the chemical structure of the milk. It makes it look nothing like what came out of the cow. Because it is the breast milk of a cow, it also includes, when it is raw, digestive enzymes that would deal with the processing in an immature digestive system, just as a mother's milk contains digestive enzymes for the immature digestive system of a baby. It would also contain probiotics, which would help to populate the gut flora. And then traditional raw dairy would come from a cow who ate its proper diet, which is grass and clover and things like that. So you can see there's a massive difference between raw dairy and modern dairy. Raw dairy is going to contain digestive enzymes to help with digestion, probiotics. It is going to not be homogenized or pasteurized, meaning that the molecular structure will be intact. And in that case, dairy can be a really healthy part of your diet. Okay, another thing to consider is fermenting dairy. So fermenting dairy adds in more probiotics or positive bacteria into the culture that can populate the stomach and help you with your digestive system. And always that's better if it comes from a raw dairy. Organic is your next choice, and you pretty much want to stay away from conventional dairy in the form of just the milk that you grab from the store. All right, my number one rule for dairy, if you can't find raw dairy, which P.S. you can get that from us, but if you can't find that, you always want to go organic, and that's kind of a no questions asked, spend your organic dollars on dairy. All right, so I'm sure you can hear the baby that's crying in the background, hence the reason I'm wearing this lovely 1980s shirt. Haka Fitness isn't making nursing shirts, so I have to make my own. Let me go take care of him. I hope you got something out of this, and if you have more questions, put them in the comments.